Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joy LaCherie, and our guest today is Ryan Laffoon. Before we get started with Ryan and find out about his musical background, I do want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Priss in Edgewood, Washington. And he has created a very creative and collaborative environment. He started out with mostly drummers and guitarists, and now he's spread out to producing music, and he does produce mine. So if you have any needs, do feel free. You can find him on Facebook to let him know that you're in need. And you can either look under Luscious Moss Studio in the little looking glass part of Facebook or Chad Quist. Oh, so with that, let's get on with this interview. And I'm really happy to have you here with us today, Ryan.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Do you have a control at all on your system where you could make it a little louder? I don't know if it's just my computer or no volume.
Well, I can also try to speak up a little bit more, so I'm not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
as you get older and you've listened to these amplifiers for just a long enough time, you go a little deaf. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've got a little bit of that myself. So
yeah, I say it all the time. I think most musicians are hard of hearing. They just glare at me.
Yeah. That's I've got to be better about that. Need to get some decent quality, ear protection if I'm going out. I've done it.
I'm doing it now, but it's too late.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like once you have the loss, once you're experiencing it, it's gone. You can't get it back.
Well, thank God for sound systems where you can turn it off.
Yeah.
So how did you begin? When did you begin? And what was your first instrument?
Yeah. Well, I began, I'd say, around 7 to 10 years old. We had a player piano in my house, and my mom would play that, would sing, and I, of course, took great interest in that. So, at least at first, I think I was about around 7 to 10. So,
how old? 7?
Yeah, about 7 years old.
Okay.
I started taking lessons, though. In retrospect, I was not the greatest student for it. I think I just I had soccer practice and baseball practice, and I just sort of treated it as as work.
Yeah.
So
did you have to do the classics, or did they give you something fun?
A little bit more classics. I believe my instructor she noticed that I was more of an ear learner.
Yeah.
And tried to steer me towards sight reading, and limited success. I mean, I think I could still, to this day, could probably pick up sheet music, figure out what's going on, but not in time.
That's a good skill to have as a guitarist. I mean, you really, that is a needed skill.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, and it's something that I definitely would like to improve upon for certain, because it's, like I said, like 7 to 10 was about when I was exposed to that, and lost interest. I kind of just stopped doing it. I think I had a live performance at a big church hall. I remember being about 10 years old, wearing a tuxedo, going out and playing at a grand piano, and putting out like just a really awful version of Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then just being
yeah.
And somebody else came out and played something amazing, and I just compared myself at the time and said, I'm not going to do that. So.
Do you have any stage fright, or did you fall into it naturally?
Oh, I definitely had some stage fright. I still do. I'm working on. I've worked it out a lot, I feel like, but yeah. So I mean, really, I'd say between 10 and 16, really didn't do a lot of anything with music. But then about that age, 16, 15, I started getting into rock music.
Yeah. What year was that? What's like time frame here? In the 80s or?
This would be like late 90s to the 2000s.
I
was born in 83, so I'm a youngin'. But well, like my parents started listening, where when I was younger, my parents would listen to a lot of oldies, classics, and
Yeah.
country,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
and yeah, it
Country.
was absolutely. My dad is still a Hank Williams, super fan. So
Yeah.
uh,
I didn't start liking country until I was in the 80s when they started coming out with the newer country music at that time compared to what it was. Yeah.
yeah, I still think back, and I still have influences from like '90s country and stuff when I was very young.
Right.
Uh, trying to think of some names, but yeah, I just obviously like Garth Brooks and stuff. I think was a big
Right.
one at the time.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I loved his music. I still do. He's just a super guy. There's he has a song that most people don't recognize anymore, or they haven't heard it, or it just never came across their radar. But I used to have a lead that sang Rodeo or Mexico.
okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard it, but it's a great song. It's just sometimes you get a chance. You like Garth, that'd be a good one to listen to. So, where did you go? How old are you when you started performing that piano recital of yours?
Yeah,
How
yeah, that'd be my first, but it was, and I'd say that's just like my early music memories. But about 15, 16, got into rock
oh
music, and I remember telling my mom like I want to get a guitar, and
oh cool.
she lit up again. So she was like, "Great, you're getting back into music." So may
You know,
not be all the stuff that I like, but well, at that time I did get into, I want to say, like Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and Boston, and just some more classic rock stuff
yeah.
that
Do you still play that? What I heard, I have not heard that. You're doing a lot of really neat fingering stuff, and I don't know if I could classify it. You're kind of eclectic there, but I would not have guessed that you would have liked that or played that kind of music.
oh yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair, it got even deeper because I started getting into metal music at the time,
Oh,
and
good grief.
Metallica and Pantera and Tool and all of these, yeah, just really heavy music in the '90s. I'd say being a teenager at the time
Right.
probably kicked me into that.
Well, what area of the greater Seattle area do you live in? Just the local area?
Oh well, right now I'm in the Mill Creek area,
Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, I guess I didn't even get into that. But yeah, my youngest, I was born and raised in Yakima, and
Oh, okay.
so I was,
Yeah.
yeah, Central Washington for well, pretty much my up until I was about 21.
Well, back in the time that you were just coming through, 80s and 90s, I think it was still going on in the 90s. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am. But there were a lot of great bands like Queensryche, and I don't even
Oh yeah,
can't think of all of them. I worked for Google for a while, and all of their rooms, their interview or whatever rooms that they used had names of a band, a local Seattle band.
okay, you
Yeah,
did that too. That's funny.
and I never really paid much attention to rock because I was into folk and country and that kind of stuff. And you know, I watched them bust up these beautiful guitars on stage, and yeah, really nasty sound is no, enough for me. But now that I'm being exposed to it, whether I like it or not, by going to jams, I'm beginning to really see a lot in there that I never realized. A lot I don't like, but um, there's still a lot of really good rock music out there, and I wish I could do it. I just don't have the. It's not in my soul. I think.
Yeah. Well, I guess it probably wasn't necessarily in mine, long term because
Right.
yeah, I mean, I'm not breaking out my Ibanez and doing speed mix now. I could get back into that, but it doesn't draw my interest as much as
So
it used.
what do you call? I mean, what are you actually doing right now? I think I asked you that question. I don't know if Eric got an answer, but What
Yeah,
kind of music are you interested in now that you want to convey through your guitar
yeah.
to your
Well, yeah.
audience?
Now, yeah, I'd say within the last few years, I mean, I really got into singer songwriting, like just playing by myself. I had been playing by myself ever since I don't know the 2000s or so. My first band in high school kind of broke up, and I started going to college, and I didn't really connect with the scene. So I just sort of I noodled. I play around on my guitar by myself, and listen to some. That's when I started getting back into country, like Merle Travis, Chet Atkins, and finger picking style like that.
Yes.
Really drew my interest, and then I sort of mixed in with some of the funkier and jazzier songs that I started appreciating in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Like Jamiroquai and is a name that I've brought up. Mike Einziger, so the guitars from Incubus. Um, yeah, there was quite a bit there. But yeah, as far as my current style, yeah, it really derived from basically playing by myself, trying to maximize the sound. I guess
Right. Well,
when I was
I like what I heard, and your picking to me. I mean, I'm no connoisseur of this stuff, as far as being able to be an expert on it, but I know what I like and I know what I don't. And your picking seems really clear and distinct to me. I mean,
thinking,
that was my impression. So I don't know if that's um, the norm for the kind of music that you're doing or not. Because when you were giving me those names of musicians that you were interested, I had no clue, absolutely none.
yeah,
Incubus, is that what you said? One of them was Incubus.
I have done a few Incubus tunes.
I've
Yeah,
never listened. I have no clue.
yeah,
No.
I've definitely done a few. Well, at the places where I saw you, at least, I did a couple of Jamiroquai tunes. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, everything I do, I sort of throw my. I guess every musician does that. Throw my own spin on it,
Right.
and yeah, I guess with finger picking, I think it was trying to maximize the sound, and a perfectionism sort of took over. So just trying to trying to hit all of those notes perfectly in
Yeah.
time and practicing it over and over and over again. Probably annoying the hell out of my wife, but
Well, maybe not. Maybe she really likes it. It doesn't matter.
well, I hope so. But yeah, she was strongly encouraged me to
Good.
get out and get this going within the last year. So I have
Well,
to thank her for that.
so after you absolutely. So after you left high school, you said you went to college, and you kind of just put this all aside. So when did you start picking up the guitar again and moving forward with some kind of idea of what you might want to do?
Well, um, yeah, like I said, I mean, I sort of glossed over it, but yeah, around 15, 16, had a band with some friends. Really, we played a couple of shows, and I really got into it. I started being the multi instrumentalist. So
Ah,
I put down the guitar and pick up the drumsticks for that
ah,
band, and just because the guy who was playing the drums was also a good guitar player and singer, and he was willing to sing, and I was not at the time. So,
well, that explains a lot because I don't know. My opinion is that when I listen to people who are is clean music, meaning that they're right on the money as far as where they should be with their singing and their playing. Um, Usually, the best ones have been drummers somewhere in their past or still are. And I'm doing the cajon now, and the reason I'm doing that is because I have some timing issues, bad habits and all, and I'm noticing that to try to sit and pick out other kinds of beats besides country is a real challenge. The timing, the way the drummer plays it, and it does change your ability and how you present yourself. Although mine's kind of crappy at the moment, but I try. Anyway, I do see some improvement there. So that's a good skill to have, I think.
Yeah.
I value it.
Yeah. Well, I've got a cajon too. Yeah. I think,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Well, I've got a drum kit in the garage too. I just don't I don't play it too often because I'm in an
Yeah.
apartment complex and it's frowned upon. So
Yeah.
I try to get around to all the instruments.
Right. What
But
else
yeah,
do you play? You play piano, play the piano, play guitar, play drums. Do you ever play bass?
I do. I do. I'm now.
Wow.
I've been doing it within the last year. So right around the time that I got going, I'd say it was about a year ago now. So late February, March of 2023. Just started going around to open mics.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones that I went to, I met a good friend who I had worked with at a previous company, and we went to his house and we played music in his garage, and I started picking up the bass. So
Cool.
yeah, so
Hey,
we
I want to ask you about this bass business because I'm not a bass player. I have played a song. I did buy a bass and played one song for our bass player who wanted to do it. You Look Beautiful Tonight, I think is the name of the. I didn't learn how to play that. The last night I was at a jam in Duval and I was watching Lynn Sorensen play his bass with no frets on it, right? And I figure, how do they do that? What don't I know? I mean, without frets, I don't know where I am.
yeah, well, I'd say it's fretless without marks, so it's almost like playing violin, picking up violin. There's the notes are there. You just have, you kind of have to gain the feel for it. I play a fretted bass, so I don't have that issue.
Now you play the guitar as well. So when
Yes.
you're playing the bass, what is it? I always wanted to ask this question. You're my first. So what is the difference between, is it easier to play the bass than it is the guitar? What is the difference between the two?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot thicker strings. Depending on your setup, you'll maybe have less or maybe have more. I have a 6-string bass and I have a 4-string bass. Standard is 4. Yeah, it's easier in that you're playing along with notes versus chords. You don't have to do.
So you're playing the root note, or what are you actually playing on it?
Well, yeah. Roots, or you're stepping up and stepping down, kind of depending on the music that you're backing. And you're following the drums. So you're married to the drums if you have that.
Yeah.
But it is a different feeling that I really started to enjoy. I feel in the last year, kind of being the driver of the band, driving the rhythm section, and well, yeah, I mean, it forces you to listen to music also in a different manner. Same thing with drums. I mean, if you stop and you listen to the same track for you're listening to the guitar solo and then you switch up to the drums, you obviously get a different feel.
Right. You talk about being married to the drums. I got to the point where I don't really hear the lead. I'm focusing on the bass player and the drummer. I play rhythm, but I would have to say I'm married to the bass player and the drummer. That's what I hear. So after you started playing again, and I'm assuming, were you married by then? Were you already having a family or a spouse at least?
Yeah. So yeah, I met my wife. Oh man, we just had our 15-year anniversary. So we met about 20 years ago.
Oh my goodness. And she's obviously, you said, she's encouraging you to play. So are you at this point, are you playing gigs out a lot, or are you starting to, or where are you at in your progress here?
I'm hoping to get into paid gigs again.
You're hoping to get what?
Getting into playing paid gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now I have been doing like I said, open mics. So
Yeah.
playing, just kind of getting the exposure over the last year. And I mean, that exposed me to a lot of great folks. I'm actually planning to be recording some of my original songs.
Well,
I only wrote the songs within the last year because I was encouraged
yeah.
by folks to like, hey, I'd love your voice, love your sound of
Right.
your
Yeah.
guitar, I'd love to hear your original stuff. Said, oh, I need to write something then.
I did that during COVID the first time. I formed a band in 2000 and played 2015 through that era. And then I got cancer and I couldn't stay up on stage. I was pretty wasted. I, I couldn't do it. And then I came back to it, and boy, what a process that was. It took me 4 years just to get back to where I was when I quit. Yeah. And yeah, it's a struggle. And now that you're looking for gigs, it's like before I didn't have any problem. I mean, we were, hired sometimes 3 nights a week, and both had full-time jobs. And now, when I have the time, it's not like that anymore. It seems to be a much more difficult thing to do.
Oh,
Have you noticed that yet, or not? Have you gotten that far?
I guess I haven't really gotten that far personally. I have noticed the amount of things that are popping up in like my Facebook feed
Right. Yeah.
for
Right.
for shows that are happening every weekend, and it's great. It feels like that is coming back to life
Right.
compared to during COVID. It was pretty bleak.
Well, one of the other thing that I noticed, just kind of just a comment since we're at this point, was that we were making about $400, and there were five of us. So about $400 4-hour gig, and now it's less. As instead of being more, it's actually seemingly less. And so when I've got a couple of things that I've done, and I've taken and paid the extra amount out of my money. Um, and some of it I've paid completely out of my money. And it's like it shocks me when I see what's going on. And they want you to have a following, and it takes a while to build up a following. You don't just start in again and have a following, right?
Yeah.
And they want the customers. That's what it's all about. They want people to come into their place, and you draw them. And so that's really hard for people who are starting over or just first coming up. And it takes a little while. So anyway, it's just a state. Yeah. So I can see the obstacles that we're facing. And I've yet to figure out how to overcome some of these.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's like I said, I don't have the personal experience, but I've been hearing it.
Yeah.
I've been hearing the gripes for sure. And
Yeah. Well, they're real. So
yeah,
it's right about that time where you said you were going to play for us today. I'm
sure.
actually looking forward to it. I want to make sure I forward to it. That people understand who might be listening that streaming music is not the same as being at a gig. There's a lot of distortion compared to when you're out playing. So keeping that in mind, let's hear what you got, Ryan. I'll buy it. I'll get out of here, and you won't be able to see me, but we'll be able to see you. And the only thing I ask is that we, if and I know where you're sitting, it's a little harder, but to show the guitar. So, um, there we go. All right,
Prop it
I'm
up
out of
on
here.
All right, thank you. This first one's called Strong. There are times when you feel you can carry on, but you force yourself to be strong. Yeah, you force yourself to be strong. When you feel you can't go on. When you feel like your home is gone, you find a space where you belong. Yeah, you find a space where you belong. When you feel that your home is gone. So you know you can never go wrong. When you seek love, whatever road you're on. Yeah, you seek love, whatever road you're on. So you know you can never go wrong. When the end of the day has come, you'll be remembered for the good things that you've done. Yeah, you'll be remembered for the good you've done. When the end of the day has come. So force yourself to be strong. You force yourself to be strong.
Bravo. I like that. You have a nice voice. I was trying to. Oh, we got a comment here. It says, hello from Luscious Moss Studio. Hi, Chad. We need to get together.
Hello.
So, thank you for tuning in. That's my sponsor, yeah, Chad Chris and Luscious Moss Studio. So I know you have another song. Was that was the song that we strong? That was when you wrote, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say I put the lyrics to that a couple weeks, like maybe a week or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's my, I guess, the most influx song I have. I've said that to somebody else, but feel like the song never stops changing. You just record it and release it at some point. And
do you have any thoughts on how you want to record that? Is it going to be just you playing, or do you have backers behind it, or?
I haven't really thought too much about that, other than just getting those first tracks and just kind of playing with it, I suppose.
Okay.
I'd say maybe about a couple of. I mean, I've got a few friends who play violin or saxophone. Might be interested in hiring them. So.
Cool. Yeah, that's I like the song, and I think it is song good, right, regardless of how you do it. And I was while you were playing, I was trying to think it. It's not quite blues. How would you categorize that? Can you?
That's a good question because I have a hard time with that. Yeah, just like what exactly am I playing? You
Well,
know, but you had said blues before, and I thought, well, I didn't even consider the blues aspect. I was kind of like I was thinking of sort of a jazzier or a
yeah,
funkier.
that's fair. Yeah, there are elements to that. I realize that too. So I'll let you go here. I'm going to log out and let you go ahead with your performance. All right.
All right, thank you. All right. That last one's a little bit more positive. This one's less so. But this is the first song I kind of came up with in the last year. Call it the End. Actually, I'll start with the part that I'm supposed to start with. This is the end. The news just came in. I'm sorry to have to tell you, friend, that this is the end. This is the end. No, we ain't gonna make it. The planet just cannot take it no more. This is the end. 'Cause the world, it's burning down. Can't you see the fires all around? The whole thing's turned upside down. This is the end. It's all going way too fast. Only cockroaches will outlast us. The end. This is the end. I'm glad that I could call you a friend while it lasted. 'Cause we're about to get blasted. The end. Oh, the bombs, they're dropping down. And there ain't enough room to fit us all underground. The whole thing's turning upside down. Fate is coming round the bend. So hug your family and your friends. Yeah, the signs have been portending. It's time to stop pretending that this is not the ending. 'Cause it is. Well, the ice, it's all melting down. Oceanic desalination, dead fish all around. Artificial intelligence, singularity bound. And the Antichrist has apparently been crowned. So it looks like this is the end. This is the end. This is the end. Something like that.
Yeah, I liked it. Good listening music. Good, good listening music. All right. So if you could have a vision of what the future holds, uh, between now and maybe 5 years is kind of a long way out there, but in the next year or two, what do you see yourself doing, and what direction would you like to go with this?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think I would, like I said, I'd love to have a solo show. If
Right.
not a solo show, maybe a combined show. Work with one or two other musicians. I'd say that's probably attainable. I
Right.
have enough
Right.
material. I could probably squeeze a show out of it. I'd like to do that. I want to continue, to attend events for other musicians and open mics. Just keep having fun with it, because that really drew me in, was just going out and having fun playing music.
Right.
I really don't want to burn out and feel like I'm putting too much time into it and trying to make something out of it versus just
Right.
enjoying myself.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
do you work? Do you also work full time, or? Oh,
I do, yes. I'm on break right now, so I've been a software developer for a number of years, so I've been working from home.
oh, cool. Okay. I see on the back there on your windows, so you got, it looks like a tractor.
Oh yeah.
A John Deere?
A John Deere Lego. Yeah, my daughter bought that for me.
Love it. Yeah. Okay, so at this point, we're looking at just seeing where it goes, trying to get your music recorded, correct?
Yeah,
And that takes money.
it does.
Lots of money.
It does, and I
And
guess I'm lucky in that I met someone who has offered me a little bit of studio time, at least for like that last song that I played.
right.
So by the end of the month, I'm hoping to take advantage of that
Yes.
offer.
All right. That's soon. Now, so if you had to guess when you'd like to release it, what date would we be looking at?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how long it takes to record and to master and stuff, but if you don't see something by end of March, I'd be pressing me. So
All right, good. And I'll be the first one to listen to it.
yeah, I'm hoping this the first of many.
Okay.
And then other things. I mean, I've got in the works right now. I'm working with. I said I've got a jam band with a few friends. Get together every couple of weeks. And,
Where do you go?
oh well, we just go to my friend's garage. But
Oh, okay.
well, we're just having fun with that.
Yeah.
But we've started recording a few. Just our practices. So it's like if it becomes something, then that's great. I'll carry that. That'd be nice. Other than that, I'm working with another group now. As of a couple of weeks ago, we're going to be doing a show in June, I believe. Working on a Dave Matthews Band tribute project.
Matthew?
Dave Matthews, yeah.
Dave Matthews. Oh, isn't he yeah, fairly well known around this area?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I have not gotten to see him, but I remember when we were gigging we weren't getting very many people, and somebody said, "Well, that's because Dave Matthews Band is in town." So, and I wish I would have gotten to see him, but I never did. I'm glad to guess now. This I'd like to know. So, do you have a website, or are you thinking about getting a website or someplace to let us know when this is out there and when you're playing?
I am planning on it. So yeah, I do not have a great social media presence.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody recorded a video of me the other day and they remarked that like my dogs have more followers than you do on TikTok. That's a disgrace. So
Well, I have to get, I don't know about other musicians, but from what I can see, you constantly have to be in their face, offering them things online to get their attention, to remind them where you're going to be playing or when you're going to be playing, etc.
yeah.
And, and you're on Messenger, so I'm assuming you also have Facebook presence as well. And what I do, yeah, somebody showed me this. I had no clue, but I list every jam that I'm going to go to on a weekly basis, and who the host is, etc. And I don't get to as many as I'd like to because they're usually held at a time when my husband's just getting off work and the traffic is horrendous. So
Yeah.
I kind of stick to some of the same basic ones, but yeah, that's one way of getting it out there. The other way is it doesn't take long for people to forget who you are. And so I keep putting things on that remind them, like this show, for instance, or if I have jams or so forth that I want to bring attention to. Usually in August, there's a Palooza event for musicians, and all music is held over by the Great Wolves
Okay.
in that Tumwater area.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and you can camp out there for a couple days. You bring your family, and they get you up to do jams and do your own band. To use your band and can play for an hour. And I just put that on my Facebook. So if you're interested, it's there. And it's just a lot of musicians from different areas and people that I've had on the interview. And it's just fun. It's something that you go to. The food is provided. They have beverages there. And it's just musicians getting to know each other. And they have huge area for camping, and it's wild. Like, I'm not going to say that it's like a nice park. It's not. It's a field, and people just pull in there and camp. And there's porta potties. That's about as close you're going to get to a shower.
Okay.
If you're interested, that's there as well. So
Oh, definitely.
when you have performed, is there anything that you remember happening, that like a aha moment, that where you said, "Hey, I think given what happened today, I think I'm doing the right thing and I want to pursue this," or is it not quite that revealing?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm probably at the very beginning of about a year ago
Okay.
when I first went out. I feel like the stars just aligned. We're just having a couple of great nights and being super elated, driving home like I don't know what the hell I was doing for the last X number of years. Why haven't I not been playing? This is I need to be doing this like every week. And I even got to the point of pushing it a little too hard. I think like my third or fourth week doing this, I'm going to do Monday through Friday. I'm going to do every single day, go to a place. And yeah, the Saturday I was just exhausted.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, there's a lot of places that you can go, and people are expecting me to be there, but there are times when you just need to sit back and let it go. That was this weekend for us too. Yeah. So, have you ever had any bad experiences or things that made you go, I wonder about this whole thing?
Well, probably, I struggle to think of recent ones. Everything's been pretty
Yeah.
pretty solid. I've had a couple of nights where it felt like, okay, the host is I have seen the host maybe a minute or so, but they seem to just kind of gone off and let things just happen. So I've had nights where the sound is kind of
Yeah.
not really great. So I'll just play through and I'll just be done.
Yeah. Sometimes that sound is a big issue. More so in the past when I was doing, gigging, but not so much anymore because there's just so many great improvements out there and good sound. If you know how to operate it, you're
Mhm.
yeah. I don't even know how to do it. So if I ever go out there by myself, I'm not sure I could do it by myself. I'd have to figure it out before I ever did it.
Yeah,
But
no,
if they do, well, my husband is soundman. He does pretty good at it, so that helps. Got it built in.
okay, yeah. I noticed him adjusting levels at Maltby, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were out at Doug Ross Jam on Thursday nights. That goes from 6 to 9. And he just started that. And started one night I filled in for him, and there was only like 2 people.
Yeah.
And I had to go for at least 2 hours. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had to play by myself, which is even worse. And it is what it is. But now he's got people that they had to turn them down because there are just too many of them to get him in that period of time, even with 3 songs. So it's a great place to go.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what was your thoughts about that jam? As far as did you like it? Was it what you expected, or will you go back? I mean, I haven't seen you again, so
Yeah, I meant to go back last Thursday, but
yeah,
had another
yeah,
was asked by someone else, like, hey, could you
yeah,
show up here and play bass for me? All
yeah.
right, I'll do that.
Okay, you're absolved.
Yeah, but I did enjoy that one. That was
Okay, good.
that was just starting to kind of break out of some of my usual routine. I had been going to 192 uh,
Yeah,
Lake Tap Room down there
I've
pretty
never
regularly.
gotten there, but I heard about it, so I know it's there.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed that. The crew there, the folks that come and jam there. It's a great variety, and they seem to be just it's a great camaraderie. They have a nice community.
But what day is that on? Tuesday?
That's also on Thursdays, so
Of course.
I have to kind of like one
Never
week.
raised, but a force, right? There's another one that just started out in your area. You said Mill Creek, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. There's
oh,
Peebles. Have you ever?
People's on Mondays. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you'd fit right in there. So
yeah.
have you done?
I did visit once, and I mean I have to I'll go in again with a little bit more open mind just because it was I felt like okay, this is a blues jam. I don't feel like I belong necessarily, but watching videos of it later on, it's like oh okay, it feels like they do their own thing for about an hour or so,
Yeah,
and then bring in like the rest of the acts. So
yeah.
I'll have to give that one a shot again.
Yeah, that's kind of common. That hour, that like taking an hour. They don't do that at Mulvey, but Doug doesn't. But yeah, that's kind of common, and takes up a lot of time if you have a lot of jammers, like at the Oxford, for example. Yeah,
Yeah, I first noticed it there. It was they've been Jerry has a very interesting intro for his show as well. So.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he kind of judges how many people are there. I think they can only take something like 10 or 11 people, and that's kind of sketchy. I just listened, so I don't know if that's accurate or not. But yeah, I don't think he likes to play alone. Judging from the way he does it when he's alone, I'm assuming he doesn't necessarily like to do that. But I understand that 100%. Now, you, on the other hand, you have no trouble with that, but some of us don't like it. So I have another. Um, Somebody is saying sound is important for sure, but I don't know if that's Chad talking or who because it doesn't show me you have to put your name on there. please. And then it says, "Hi, beautiful Joy and Ryan." I'm not sure who that is, but beautiful is a strong word, but thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call Ryan beautiful, handsome, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I may not, but I'll accept it if it is aimed my way. Sure. I'll just say it was for both of us.
Well, I think we covered everything that I can think of. We still have 10 minutes, and it's you're starting out. You've just begun with your songwriting. You're beginning to search out someone to get it produced with, and you've got quite an extensive background as far as your music. But I have a question. When you were going through as well, and that was now I forgot it. Jeez. Well, whatever it was, hopefully it'll come to me. I got it. It was something about your. Well, it's just gone. I'm tired.
That's understandable. I get it. Well, if you think of it, let me know.
Yeah, I will. I can't remember what it was, but it's something about well, yeah, hopefully it'll come back. Anyway, so when you're in an audience playing, like you were at Oxford and Maltby, they're kind of a strange audience because they're fellow musicians, and they're not gonna go boo or ignore you. For the most part, they're very, very supportive of each other in there, and even at Maltby. And is it harder to play with people that are going to give you be a positive audience? Is it harder to play when you're not in that environment than when you're in it, or do you notice the difference?
Well, I guess I don't know. I'm not sure if I do. I feel like, I get, I guess, more directed criticism or feedback from fellow musicians.
Yeah.
Although there's oftentimes, and I've been guilty of that too, of just kind of like, hey, great set, it's very generic, like you did great, that's awesome, but I don't have as much, that wasn't listening for giving criticism.
Right.
But I feel like I've gotten, from general, from public members or whatever, from non-musicians, I definitely feel like I get a lot more just general praise. That's
Right.
That's nice. That's a big portion of why I do it.
I was thinking about Maltby, and when the people come in there, we've gotten a lot of Dog has gotten a lot of new people in there, and there's different kinds of reception. And I noticed that when you came in there, they didn't know you. You hadn't been there before, and they really enjoyed your music. I mean, it was very obvious by the reaction. And I don't know if you can tell that when you're up there and you're singing and playing. It sounds like maybe not, but I noticed it because I was used to new people coming in. And of course, they're going to applaud everybody because that's what they do. But there's also another thing that gives it away is when you can look around and see that they're listening. You have their attention. That's one of the things I go by. And also the second thing I go by is if they don't like something that you're doing, especially at the Oxford, their applause isn't quite as much applause. Let's say it isn't as loud, it isn't as involved. So I kind of listen for those cues, and I wonder if other musicians do that too.
Well, I guess it's in a vain way, sort of. I do notice that. I have noticed, yes, when especially like later at night, if I'm playing at the end of the night, well, just so it seems like it's just sort of naturally the crowd's thinned out a little bit. There's less conversation going on. But yeah, I guess I sort of did notice that with Maltby and with a few places more recently that like, yeah, it's like as I'm finishing up, I'm hearing hoops and hollers that I wasn't hearing before, or
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely enthralling for sure. That's definitely nice to have.
Right. Exactly. I was sitting there at the Oxford, and this lady that I've gotten to know, then there's a new place that just plays music. They don't have food there, but they have wine, and they don't have liquor license, so they're not serving anything else but wine and soft drinks. And she was listening, and she nudged me and she said, "You know, these people are talking so loud you can hardly hear the musician." And she said, "I just think that's so rude." But what I told her, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but what I said to her in response was that all of these musicians in there know each other, and that's their time to get to talk about gigs and their lives and just garbage, anything they want to talk about. It's just that time to be together. And when they're interested in somebody's performance, that quiets down. When they're not interested, maybe there's something about it just doesn't hit home. They get loud. It just,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's funny how those things come about over time, and that's what I'm noticing at this point. So I don't know about you, but I have a lot of self doubt. I don't know where maybe it's age or whatever, but and I kind of listen for all that because I need to know where I'm at, and I pick up on those cues. And I don't know, do other people have those kinds of bouts, or is it just me? Yeah,
Yeah. Like I think like there's almost every single time I go into a place, there's somebody who picks up a song or something, and I have a moment of like, what I'm nothing in comparison to this person. What am I
yeah,
even doing out here? And then I crawl it back, and I'm just like, okay, well, I'm going to play my songs and enjoy
right,
myself, and
right,
stop comparing yourself to somebody else.
yeah.
Nobody
That's
else is really doing that.
yeah, that's a fatal no. It's comparison. I've learned not to do that, but I still have issues of confidence, and I think that probably goes away when you're really busy and you've got a lot of gigs, and that's kind of the morale boost there. But I haven't got that yet, so it's a struggle, and I really appreciate where you're at right now. It's not a fun place to be at. It takes a lot of hard work. Anyway,
For
um,
sure, for sure.
pardon. Okay, and do you think the other question I want to ask is, do you think when you go to these jams that you are at this point creating a following?
I guess probably not actively as I should be. That is, I feel like that's one of my biggest self criticisms. Is I'll get home at the end of the night and like, I didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't like form any new connections, or
Yeah,
something. I was paying too much attention to the music, not like going and conversing like we were just talking about.
right, right.
And yeah, just so I'm trying to find that balance, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I find it a little hard because most of these places where you go to jam, you're exposed to more musicians, I think, than audience. And musicians, when you're gigging, they're usually busy with their own gig or whatever. I mean, whatever comes along. So yeah, it's a little hard to do it that way, but it's still a good resource. And there's enough of it around here where you can go to a jam every single night if you can afford it.
Yes. Yeah. Just stick to water if you can.
See, I can't do that. I feel guilty when I do that. We don't drink, so we're kind of, and if I just drink water, then I feel kind of funny about being there if they don't have a cover charge. So
Yeah.
we usually eat. We usually have food, and then, oh man, the prices on food have gone up
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least $10 to $15 as compares if you compare it to what happens before COVID. So, and I don't know why, but that's the cost of groceries probably.
Yeah, no, it's a blessing and a curse that all of these places are wineries and breweries, and it's like, oh
Right.
man, I suddenly have a great interest in brewing.
Yeah, exactly. We've come to the end, and I did just one real quick question before we go. I'm afraid we're going to go over time, maybe about a minute. But do you have any advice to anybody who might be listening who are in your position right now, where they're just starting back and finding their way in today's music world?
Uh, do not hesitate.
Do
If
not
you
hesitate.
do not hesitate. If you feel like you're not good enough or something like that, that's what that I still have that problem. Like if you feel like you're not really good enough to go out and play, ignore that voice. I've seen tons of people in the last year who uh, their skill levels were not were
Yeah,
not very good, but they had the audacity to go out there and play their music.
takes courage.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
agree with
and those people give me like the greatest inspiration. It's just they can just
you.
do it.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to say goodbye. And, the hour goes by so fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I didn't expect that we do this. So. I
Pardon?
didn't expect that we'd get to the end. I thought we'd be like, oh, we're going to have 20 minutes left of dead air. Just
No,
don't have very much to talk about.
no, it never turns out that way. But I would like to have you back again about, I usually give it 1 to 2 years go by and I try to get people back up that were first on. And so that's kind of where we're at. And so I'd like to have you back sometime in the future when you get your song out there and get it produced and put it out in the market for us and
Yeah.
gigs. And hopefully you get something up and running where you can let us know, matured musicians, what you're doing, Ryan.
Yeah. I'll keep you up to date.
All
Most
right.
definitely.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you very much for coming today, and you have a good rest of your day.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Talk
for
to you
having
again. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
me.
So that's it for today. I, as of yet, don't have anybody for next week. Thought I had somebody they had to cancel. So I may or may not. I'm still working on it. Um, on the 8th of March, I have an interview that I'm going to. If you remember last week, I had Jake Douglas on, and he was talking about a project that he's running that educates young people and older people. I mean, anybody, and the technique that they're using to teach music and how to play it and how to sing it, etc. So it should be an interesting interview. I have no idea what they're going to ask me or what it's all about, but they did ask me on the 8th of March at 10 o'clock. I believe it goes from 10 to 11. So hopefully you'll join me then. So in the meantime, goodbye, everybody. Have a good Valentine's Day. I'm signing off. Bye-bye. Thank you for showing up today.